Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Andrea Söderberg and I work as an RTE for Agria, and I've been doing that for the last year. So we started during the pandemic, as some of you guys asked. So yes, we've had our fifth PI planning just 2 weeks ago, and I just wanted to share some thoughts and like challenges and things that have turned up during this year, and just to tell you a little bit about my thoughts and also maybe what you think about it as well. So just to begin with, I'll do it like this because I have no clicker. So my background is that my dad brought home an Amiga 500 computer in 1985 or 6, I'm not quite sure which year, and I was hooked. I just love computers, so I trained to be a programmer, and I worked as a dev for a couple of years, and then after a while I started to realizing that I had something else beside the technical knowledge that I wanted to realize, and that was that I have a systems kind of thinking. I want to improve things, and I really love people. So those two things together, I would say, kind of put me on the path of becoming an RT as well. My background in development is really useful, but it's not really a requirement, I would say, to being an RT. It's just having this will and love for improving things and just making things better, and also love for people, I think, to be able to develop people and organizations as well. So the first year as an RT, I can't lie to you guys. I mean, it's been a challenge. In some parts there have been blood, sweat and tears, maybe not so much blood, unfortunately, but some sweat and some tears, absolutely. And it's been really interesting because how you go about this transformation is really important. So the first thing that I noticed is to have business on board is really something that you need. It's really hard to change an organization, and oftentimes when you start to do a safe transformation, you do it bottom up. You start with the teams, you start with the tech people, and usually devs and people who work in development in different kinds of ways are really open to changes and also are used to working in several different ways. If you worked in development, you know that you've been through a couple of paradigm shifts during your career. So you're not opposed to this and you're kind of used to it as well, but many parts of the organization that does not have this agility to begin with, and they need some more help. So if you don't have business on board, it can be developed into something that is called the Muppet Show. And the Muppet Show is when the train in itself are trying to mimic what the business wants. Or maybe try to, an example for that we have done, and I'm not saying it's good, it was just a solution to solve an immediate problem, was that we put business value on our PI objectives. It is not perfect, and it was kind of a quick fix to fix that we needed to have something to be able to compare to later. But the problem in itself is that business, it's not like they work in a vacuum. It's not that they didn't do anything and then suddenly the safe transformation came. They have other meetings, they have other things that they're already doing. So if you don't do it both bottom up and top down, you get a disconnect. So suddenly you get conversations like, we're not involved anymore, or are you guys running this yourselves, or what happens if I need something done? And that's because they are not connected to the process in itself. And I'm not saying that we've solved this. We are very much in the middle of trying to solve this, and it's just to get the business on board as well on this train, and have the respect and the empathy that they have already their schedules filled with other things. So we need to not just put this into their schedule, we need to help them as well to actually figure out which meetings are the safe ceremonies actually can be switched so that they don't do the work double. If they have other meetings where they discuss the business values and the business objectives, maybe just check to see if the portfolio steering that we have, if that can be something that you can use instead. So speaking of other Muppets, we have the naysayers. And as I said before, I have been working in development for a long time, and I've also been working as a consultant, and I'm quite used to changes. I worked as a consultant and I was comfortable with that because I am somebody who's used to those things, and I am quick on my feet. Not everybody are quick on their feet, so if you find these people in your organizations, they might turn up, or they might appear to you as they are negative or maybe resistant to the changes. So for my own part, I've had to work quite a lot with this because I am quick on my feet, and I had to really focus and putting my energy into understanding and trying to see it from their point of view as well. So are they really naysayers? Some of these people have really good ideas and concerns about the shift that is happening. So if you can really talk to them, have good conversations with them, if there are people who have like an opposing opinion lots of times, talk to them, because they are brave people, and they also have usually something that you might have missed in the shift that you're doing. I have one lady who came to me, and she was not into one of the meetings that we had. She was like, that's not going to work, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. And I talked to her separately after that meeting, and I figured out that she thought that my view of changing things meant that I didn't see the problems. So I don't try to focus on the problems, I try to focus on the solutions, but that made her uncertain if I had really realized and understood the problems that she could see. So when I sat down and talked to her, I could see that I could actually open up a little bit more about the problems that I see. I have been really focused on being a positive force for bringing this transformation about, and that made people uncertain if I was really connected to the issues at hand. So when I opened up and said, yes, I see the same problems as you see, and this is my plan for that, and can we connect back more? Can I talk to you? And you can always contact me if you see that this is something that we don't solve, even if we put things into motion. So I had to take a step back, dial it back a little bit, and have more empathy, and also being more open with the organization that we're working in to show that my confidence in solving issues is not that I'm blind to that there are issues as well at hand. Because the thing about people and change, the brain is basically programmed to be an energy saver. It creates neural paths in the brain that are shortcuts. If you've done something lots of times, it creates a path, a shortcut in your brain, and to change those takes time. And people say like, oh, I love changes. Usually it's not true. When I was studying project management, one of my lecturers said that if you're coming with change, you are never welcome. And it's something to keep in mind. It's not that they are opposing you per se. Sometimes you can involve your ego in it as well. It's just that people don't really like change when it's a fact in front of them. So it's something to consider as well, that it takes time, and people need a lot of empathy in this change management as well, with the transformation that we're doing as well. So just keep at it, have a bit of faith in people as well, and try also to see if you can have, like, talk to people about the concerns that they're having, and see that they are feeling heard when they express them as well. Because sometimes you are the Muppet. And this happens a lot of time. I have done so many mistakes the last year, and it's been, because it's a change for me as well. It is a transformation, and I thought that, okay, this is the right way of doing it, this is the way of doing it, and just forging ahead. And then kind of realized, well, I lost some people on the way. So just to see that you have people with you, and be open and honest as well when you have done wrong. This is something that will feel uncomfortable when you do it, and feel uncomfortable especially before you do it. But if you do it and you can create this kind of environment in the organization, you will gain so much. You will gain so much, because if you show this openness and the ability to confess to mistakes made, you will also create a psychological safety in the team as well, and they will also open up to you guys. And it will create an environment where people don't hide their mistakes and come to you as soon as they see something going wrong. So if you can just acknowledge when something has gone wrong and stand for that and ask people for their help as well. I sat in a meeting just the other day and I said, okay, so I had called the meeting and we were discussing support handling in the train. And they said, oh, but that's not the issue that we see. And I said, okay, so maybe I'm just completely wrong in this. Please, could you just describe the situation to me as you see it, because you are the one who are closest to this. And I got a completely different problem statement when I asked that question. So we had to and sometimes I've just aborted meetings in the middle of it. Okay, so this is completely wrong. What we're trying to do here is not the solution to the problems that we're seeing. So maybe we should just, okay, I take the information that you have, I will reformulate this meeting and we'll have it again. I mean, sometimes it's taken like 10 minutes and then I said, okay, we're too many people here to actually discuss a problem that we're not quite having. So just sometimes you are the Muppet and you have to just take responsibility for that as well. So another thing that happened during this is, well, you've all been waiting for a sports analogy, right? Are you all into sports? I'm not quite actually, but it's a really good metaphor. Because it's something regarding results. So what are the results that we're seeing when we do this kind of transformation work? And I was a bit downcast at times because we didn't see the results that I was expecting or I was hoping for. And my husband, he is a smart man, he said to me, okay, there are 3 different things that are happening and don't collapse them into each other. So what's happening is you have the result. What have we actually produced? What has actually happened? And then you have the team's effort. What has the team done? Have they done their best? Have they done as much as you can expect from this? What is their performance? And lastly, what is my performance? And these things are not connected to each other. I could have done my best, and I don't like the result. So maybe there is something to shift, but maybe I've done my best in the circumstances that we have. But that is not necessarily connected to the performance of the team, and it's not necessarily connected to results either. So we had some things where we had really good results, but the team was not feeling good. So I would say that is not something that I was looking for. I would rather have a bad result and the team feeling good about that. But I can also look into, okay, so what can I do? And what couldn't I have done? It was hard to change something in retrospect as well. So could I be satisfied with my performance while not being satisfied with the result? These things are not the same thing. So if I could disconnect those 3 different things, I've just seen that it's easier for me to actually appreciate what has been done, even if the results or the performance is not what I've expected. So this has helped me a lot during the year, because there has been ups and downs, absolutely. So, and lastly, something that I've also found really useful is just to be patient and be kind. It is hard to transform something, and it's also hard to know what to expect when you're putting people into transformation. Some people like it less than others, and be even more patient with them. Those could be the people who are the naysayers, the people who are resisting a little bit. So be patient with them and try to go to them and see what they need to be more comfortable with the change. And lastly, that includes you too. So if you are in a transformation work, just be patient and be kind to yourself as well. It is not quite easy, and sometimes you will have those results that you don't like. So just to be patient to yourself as well is something that I had to remind myself lots and lots of times. It has been a first year of something that is a transformational work in itself. I know that one of the HR managers came up to me and said, "Oh, yeah, so you were the RTE for that new train. So have you learned safe now? I'm like, yeah, in a way, but it is a built-in quality of safe as well, that there is always something to improve. We do it step by step. There is always something to just identify which change can do the biggest shift for us right now is the way forward, and we can't do everything at once. So some days I sit with a really long to-do list about things that I wish worked better, and then I just have to pick the one that I think will do the most use, and the most use for the team as well, or is for the train in itself, and pick that one and do it. So not everything all at once, but do your best and leave the rest, basically. So thank you so much. That was me. Thank you.